Welcome back to the channel, it's Roland here, and today we are going to be doing something slightly different. I've recently been playing a game called Dead Unending. It's an excellent, soon-to-be released game, and as it's a very small game and developer, I kind of wanted to share it with you guys. So, what we're going to cover in this video today is 6 different points. Wow, technically 5. 1 is the plot, 2 is the gameplay, 3 is the base building, 4 the pros, 5 the cons, and then 6 just my finishing touches and what I kind of think of the game. So recently I was contacted by the developer of the game and we had a little chat leading to him to ask me to give this game a little test run, which I was more than happy to do, and for the first time in a long time I was pretty surprised. For a game made by what seems to be one person, so far just been a wonderful experience from the get-go, and kind of seemingly takes inspiration, or at least has noticeable comparison to games like Project Zomboid and even more recently released Undying, and it's just a wonderful mix of both the art style and kind of the survival slash zombie setting, I guess. I don't know. It's a genre, so it's taken ideas from everywhere, and that's how genres are made. But yeah, let's get straight into it.
Attention passengers, this is your conductor speaking. The state has mandated that all public transportation must be stopped immediately. We will be making an emergency stop in Knoll County. An unexpected surge in an unknown viral brain infection is quickly spreading. The governor has stated to avoid contact with any individuals that may appear to be pale in color, limping, or speaking incoherently.
So as with most of these games, you're kind of thrown into a world with nothing but your wits about you after a traumatic event, and get thrown straight into the deep end with no weapons, no gear, nothing, just the looming threat of the undead around you. Track down your weapons, go hunt for some Zeds, get as much junk as you can, start base building. Rinse and repeat, more or less, until you build up enough to start developing your own things and, yeah, just sort of building your own little self-sustaining environment and, yeah, just taking on hordes of undead at your will. So far I've only played a few hours, and usually I'm a bit of a pick up and put down with smaller games like this because most of them are just a little bit too clunky for my liking, or it doesn't compare to other games. But this one really stands out for me, and the clunkiness almost gives it its own charm, like its own character. So the basic premise of the game is to explore, collect resources, build up a base to help protect you from the hordes that come in, which is both challenging and highly rewarding. Combat is fairly basic, with just a swing or aim or shoot a gun. Surprisingly doesn't get boring, keeps it all fairly simple and very familiar to what you're used to. So far I've only seen 2 enemy types, the basic walker and the sprinter, which is fairly standard but keeps the realism there, which is just enough of variety to keep it interesting and keep it fun. So it almost keeps you on your toes a bit as well, so you just never know, especially when you start leveling up as well. So far what I've noticed is the higher level, the higher chance of sprinters spawning in. It just happens, and it's great. So there's a good little balance to do it. There's also scavengers you can find, so I haven't found any yet, but I'm presuming when you bring them back, they sort of do the legwork for you. So whilst you're doing the tower defense side of the base building, picking off Zeds left, right and centre, they'll go out and pick up the junk for you. Not too sure yet, but that's a feature that I really want to find out. Looks fun. It's a little bit of me. So for me, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I love both base building and automation. This game kind of has both of those and combines them perfectly, with a tower defense aspect on top of it, which just allows you to farm junk to improve your base and basically sends you into this extremely addictive loop to keep growing your base and get to a point of full automation. And I just can't get enough of it. So good. Tower defense side is more or less placing and improving turrets to hose down the hordes of undead that get brought to you through a radio tower that you can build and upgrade to adjust the frequency in which Zeds come to your base. So kind of like, it's good because it gives you a chance to build up before pretty much making it unbearable. So say you've got one turret, place your radio tower, you'll start getting small waves. If you don't want more waves, you can keep your one turret and your basic radio tower, you'll just get a steady stream. But if you have about 10 turrets and you just need more and more Zeds, upgrade your radio tower. They can just start flying in, and that's wonderful. So you eventually build up enough junk to be able to make producers, which you can then turn junk into better things, and you can eventually automate getting steel. So you don't even need to go hunting for that anymore. You can just pretty much self-sustain yourself in your small little base and generate food, generate steel, generate junk from all the Zeds you're killing, and yeah, just live a pretty crazy life. So considering the game is made by a very, very small developer, which I'm pretty sure is just one person, it's incredibly polished, even with a lot of Zeds on the screen. So that is probably the biggest shock to me for an indie game. So it's so rare you see something so well done by someone you've never heard of, and it's amazing. It really is. So exploring the map is good fun, and there's enough variety in the areas to make you feel as though you are actually in new areas, rather than just copy and paste and a reskin of a previous area you've been to, which is brilliant as well. So it just ticks all the boxes. Base building and tower defense aspects just add hours of fun into the game, and it wasn't really something I expected to see at all. So I didn't really look at the game before, but it does actually tell you on the game page everything you can do in the game, which makes sense. I just didn't read it. So I went straight for the download button, skipped straight over it, but yeah, it's brilliant. So it wasn't something I was expecting to see at all, and it's implemented into the game perfectly. So having the goal of eventually just being able to have a fully established base, which you can you can actually call it safe. It's a rare sight. So even if you leave it alone for weeks, it will still be safe. So it will just keep hosing down the Zeds, taking them all out with turrets, and yeah, it's just a rare sight in a game, and it's a goal that every survival game at least, should strive to have. So it just makes sense. So first things first, let's bear in mind that this game will probably be receiving updates and hopefully new content once it's officially released, but as with every game, there's always cons. I think so far my main concern for the game is that once you have a few turrets and things set up to start producing your own steel at a fairly decent rate, it kind of just turns into a tower defense game. So for me, that's ideal. So there's hours and hours of fun before you get to this point, and the base building adds even more hours to that, which is just wonderful. But so far I haven't really encountered any setbacks that caused you to leave the base, like, I don't know, say a turret breaks down and you need to go find a bit of gear to repair that, or one of your producers break down and you run out of steel, so you need to go out and hunt for that. So far, I haven't really seen anything like that, which, depending on what sort of gamer you are, it's a bit of a 50-50 street. So it's good for the tower defense people, but not so good for the survival people. So the game is also a tiny little bit clunky, so it's not anything crazy, but a few animations here and there, like your character can just do a full spin, which is great. I love it. It just makes me laugh every time. But as animations go, it definitely needs a little bit of work, and the hitboxes definitely need a little bit of work too. So it's by no means game breaking, but it's kind of just a mentionable negative, but yeah, not one that affects gameplay really. I think the final one for me is the AI of the Zeds also needs a little bit of work to make them a bit more of a threat too. They tend to sort of wander off in your general direction, then just drift off and lose you, even if you're a couple of feet away, which isn't really a bad thing, but it would be nice if you had more of a fear of getting overrun or backed into a corner or something like that. But yeah, nothing really stand out, just nitpicking. That's all it really is. So overall, I absolutely love this game. So if you're a fan of survival games or base building, or even like an RTS fan and love a good tower defense, if you fit into any of those categories, get this game. It's excellent. So I'm having a ton of fun with it, and it's definitely a game with a lot of potential in the survival genre, and ticks a lot of boxes even prior to release, which is a rare sight these days, especially for an indie game. Also, it doesn't fully compete with some of the long-standing games like Project Zomboid or 7 Days to Die. It's got so much more of an arcade feel to it, and it's kind of nice. So it's almost a breath of fresh air, going from like a really realistic hardcore survival to this, which is more of like a much more laid back approach, and kind of just lets you shut your brain off and, I don't know, listen to a podcast or something and play this on the side. It just works. It's just nice. It's a nice chill game to go into. Haven't noticed a single hiccup in performance either, which is ridiculous. So far, gameplay elements are actually fun and incredibly addicting. For it to be this well created, it definitely deserves all the support it can get. So the game releases on the 20th of April this month, and as it currently stands, there's a demo of the game ready to be tried and tested to give you a little bit of a taster before purchasing, but I couldn't recommend it more. So it's such a good game. So the survival side, the base building side, the open world exploration side, finding guns and scavengers and all of that stuff. It's just good fun. So it's definitely worth giving a go. But yeah, I think that overall is everything from me. So if you like this video and kind of like the look of the game, definitely check it out. So it's well worth a look. There's a link in the description of where to find it. And if you don't want to go down there, have a look on Steam, because it's brilliant. It's well worth a look, even if you're sort of on the fence. So give the demo a go. It's well worth a shot. But yeah, I'm going to love you and leave you just here. So thanks for watching. Massive thanks to members supporting the channel. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed. Hopefully, stick around for the next one. Peace.